Hi, welcome to my second review. Now, I promise this one's going to be a lot shorter, and I'm not going to be staring off into space too much because I don't have the laptop as a teleprompter. Now, beautiful day here in Michigan. I'm sure you can hear the birds. And basically what we're going to be talking about today is this. This is the HAKRC 3-axis gimbal that I picked up from Gearbest for about $63. Now, you might think, wow, that's cheap. It is cheap. Not for me. I wanted something that I could play with and test so that if I decided to get into a larger or more expensive gimbal for something other than my GoPro, say my G7, that I would have some practice and some understanding of the technology. I grew up old school with the whole rig steady cams and things like that. So this is a big difference. It's handheld, it's portable, it's very lightweight, and it's just amazing to me how the technology on these things have evolved. The motors actually just keep the camera doing what it's supposed to be doing. Now, this is a 3-axis gimbal, which means you have pitch, roll, and yaw. And this is important, okay? There are a lot of 2-axis gimbals out there for cheap. The 2-axis gimbal is not going to take care of any rotational things you might have with your hand. And seeing as this is designed to be used on a drone, that's important. Most drones, you pretty much want the camera pointing forward at all times. But with the 3rd axis, you have that flexibility to turn it into a handheld without any jerky motions. And that's very important. Now, I got this from Gearbest, as I said, Chinese company. They were actually very quick to respond with my order. They were pretty quick with answers. Some of the answers on the Q&A portion of the site are a little vague. They don't come across as very clear on some things, but it's understandable. Translation, things like that. When I bought this, it was not very clear that the controller board came with it. Some answers said it didn't, other answers said it was plug and play. So I bought it, and it does come with the controller board. The controller board itself is the Storm 32 3-axis controller board, which is open source, and pretty much anybody can make it if you want to dive into that, but they're pretty cheap. You can pick up additional boards for anywhere from $15 to $45 depending on where you buy it. Not that I anticipate needing one, but I may want one, and I'll explain that here in a minute. Now, the programmability of this is not really for the faint of heart. There's a lot of research that you're going to have to go into, but out of the box, in its inverted state, which is set up for flying on a drone, it works pretty well. The only things I had to change on here to get it inverted like this, I had to go into the gimbal configuration and change the orientation of it, and then also adjust the voltages on the motors so that they were getting enough juice to keep the camera steady in this orientation. It does not have a joystick for pan and tilt, though you can add one for about $11. DYS makes one that with a little finagling will fit on here, and you know, it doesn't look really clean like a quote-unquote Feiyu or you know, the DJI Osmo. But as far as performance, amazing. Absolutely amazing. Now, mine came with a faulty cable to the IMU, which is underneath the camera here. And even with that, which, you know, I have to finagle with it sometimes, I get absolutely amazing stuff out of it. Much better than I anticipated for a $62 gimbal, or $63 with change. Free shipping. So 63 bucks. I got this thing. I have the other parts. I'm using a battery from my Baofeng two-way radio. I'm a ham operator, so I've got a few of these. And I'm running and gunning. and it works great. I've used my Hero 3 white, I've used a Hero 4 black, and the results are just absolutely amazing. As far as the interface goes, there's a lot of tabs, there's a lot of information, a lot of things that I don't understand, so I'm not going to go into it, but you can change the configuration. Right now I've got it set up so that it's hold, pan. As you can see, it follows on the pan, but there's what they call a dead band so that it doesn't do any herky-jerky back and forth. Now, the reason I did hold is because I was doing some tests on a light stand, which put me up about, I think about 18 feet up in the air, a really long light stand, and was playing around with that to see if I could fake some gimbal or some drone shots, and also to do some very extreme jib shots, and they worked beautifully. If you're into experimenting, if you want to play around with this idea, get this gimbal. I'll put the link in the description. Again, I think now it's like 63 and change, but it was free shipping. It showed up a lot faster than I thought it would. Gearbest is working on trying to get me a replacement cable for my faulty one. But other than that, I've got no complaints, none whatsoever. And the board, the Storm 32 board, if you upgrade the motors, guess what? You can build your own gimbal for next to nothing for a G7 like I have, or even up to a 5D Mark III. So keep that in mind. Try some experimenting. Love this thing. And I'll be doing a lot more business with Gearbest after this. All right, peace, have a good one, and probably here soon I will get my second Lumix review going, or my follow-up review. All righty, y'all have a good day. Bye.
Don't fall.
Don't
fall.
I won't. You go out ahead of me a little bit.